India, a kaleidoscope of colours, a symphony of sounds, a tapestry of cultures. From the snow-capped Himalayas to tropical beaches, India is breathtakingly diverse. Ancient traditions coexist with modern aspirations. Spirituality and science walk hand in hand.
Journey back to the Indus Valley civilization, a marvel of urban planning. The Vedas, sacred texts of Hinduism, offer glimpses into India's spiritual foundations. Buddhism and Jainism, preaching non-violence, emerged in the 6th century BC. The Indus Valley civilization thrived along the Indus River. Sprawling cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were hubs of trade and commerce. The civilization's abrupt decline around 1900 BCE remains a mystery. The Vedic period saw the rise of a distinct culture and social order. The Aryans brought their beliefs, customs, and social structures to the Indian subcontinent. The Vedas provide insights into the religious beliefs and daily life of the Vedic people. The late Vedic period witnessed intense intellectual and spiritual ferment. Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, preached a path to liberation from suffering. Mahavira formalized Jainism, emphasizing non-violence and spiritual liberation. The rise of the Mauryan Empire marked a turning point in Indian history. Chandragupta Maurya unified much of the Indian subcontinent. Ashoka the Great embraced Buddhism after the Kalinga War. Ashoka's reign ushered in an era of peace and prosperity. The southern part of India witnessed the rise of powerful kingdoms. The Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas dominated the political and cultural landscape. The Cholas established extensive trade networks and built magnificent temples. The southern kingdoms fostered a vibrant cultural exchange.
The medieval period in India witnessed the arrival of Islam. The Delhi Sultanate marked the firm establishment of Islamic rule in northern India. The reign of the Delhi Sultanates witnessed the spread of Islam and new architectural styles. Sufi saints played a significant role in bridging the gap between Islam and Hinduism. The interaction between Islamic and Hindu traditions enriched Indian culture.
The arrival of European powers in the 16th century marked a turning point in India's destiny. Initially drawn by the lure of spices and trade, European powers, particularly the Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British, gradually established their presence on the Indian subcontinent. The British East India Company, chartered in 1600, initially focused on trade, but gradually expanded its influence, exploiting the political fragmentation and internal rivalries of the declining Mughal Empire. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 proved to be a pivotal moment in Indian history. The East India Company's forces, led by Robert Clive, defeated the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dowlah, establishing British dominance in Bengal, a region renowned for its wealth and resources. This victory marked the beginning of the East India Company's transformation from a trading company into a political and military power. The East India Company's rule was characterized by a ruthless pursuit of profit. They exploited India's resources, imposed heavy taxes, and forced Indian farmers to cultivate cash crops like indigo and opium, often at the expense of food crops. This led to widespread poverty, famines, and a decline in traditional industries. The company's policies, driven by greed and a disregard for the welfare of the Indian people, sowed the seeds of resentment and rebellion. The company's administration was marked by corruption and inefficiency. They established a system of dual administration, with British officials holding key positions and Indian collaborators serving as intermediaries. This system, while enriching a select few, further alienated the Indian population and created a deep chasm between the rulers and the ruled. the East India Company's rapacious exploitation and oppressive policies laid the groundwork for a growing sense of discontent and resistance among the Indian people. The Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, a watershed moment in Indian history, shook the foundations of British rule. The mutiny, sparked by the introduction of controversial rifle cartridges greased with animal fat, which was offensive to both Hindu and Muslim sepoys, quickly spread across northern India. Sepoys, joined by peasants, artisans, and local rulers who had their own grievances against the British, rose up in rebellion. The mutiny, though brutally suppressed by the British, had far-reaching consequences. It led to the dissolution of the East India Company and the formal establishment of British Crown rule in India, known as the British Raj. Queen Victoria was proclaimed Empress of India in 1876, symbolizing Britain's direct control over the subcontinent. The British Raj, though it brought about some reforms in administration, education, and infrastructure, remained essentially a colonial regime geared towards serving British interests. The British implemented policies designed to assert their control, exploit India's resources, and maintain their dominance in the region. They introduced a new legal system, codified Hindu and Muslim personal laws, and established universities that promoted Western education. However, these reforms were often implemented with a colonial bias, serving to strengthen British control and perpetuate their cultural hegemony. The British Raj also witnessed the rise of a nationalist movement in India. Educated Indians, exposed to Western ideas of liberty, equality, and self-determination, began to question the legitimacy of British rule. They formed political organizations, published newspapers, and mobilized public opinion against colonial oppression. The Indian Congress Party, founded in 1885, emerged as a leading voice of Indian nationalism, advocating for greater autonomy and eventually complete independence. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed a surge in nationalist sentiment in India. The Indian National Congress, initially a platform for moderate demands for greater representation within the colonial framework, gradually adopted a more assertive stance, demanding self-rule. Leaders like Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and Ferozeshah Mehta articulated the economic critique of colonialism, highlighting the drain of wealth from India to Britain. The Partition of Bengal in 1905, a move by the British government to divide the province along religious lines, proved to be a turning point. It sparked widespread protests and galvanized the nationalist movement, leading to the rise of more radical nationalist leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, who advocated for Swadeshi, or self-reliance, and boycotts of British goods. The return of Mahatma Gandhi to India in 1915 injected new life into the nationalist movement. Gandhi, with his philosophy of satyagraha, or non-violent resistance, mobilized the Indian masses in a series of mass movements against British rule. The non-cooperation movement from 1920 to 22, the civil disobedience movement from 1930 to 34, and the Quit India movement in 1942 witnessed millions of Indians participating in acts of civil disobedience, boycotts, and protests, demanding an end to British rule. The Second World War, with its devastating impact on Britain and the rise of anti-colonial sentiment worldwide, proved to be the final nail in the coffin of the British Empire. India, after more than 2 centuries of colonial rule, finally achieved independence on August 15, 1947. The long and arduous struggle for freedom, led by generations of nationalists who fought for their rights and their dignity, had finally borne fruit.
August 15, 1947, a date etched forever in the annals of Indian history. After centuries of colonial rule, India awoke to freedom, its spirit soaring high with the promise of a new dawn. The celebrations, however, were tinged with the pain of partition, as British India was divided into 2 independent nations, India and Pakistan. The mass displacement and communal violence that accompanied partition left an indelible scar on the newly independent nation. Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister, addressed the nation from the ramparts of the Red Fort, his words echoing the hopes and aspirations of a people yearning for peace, progress, and unity. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. declared Nehru, his voice filled with emotion. His words captured the spirit of a nation ready to embark on a new journey. India adopted a democratic constitution, guaranteeing fundamental rights to all its citizens, irrespective of caste, creed, or religion. The task ahead was daunting. The newly independent nation inherited a legacy of poverty, illiteracy, and social inequality. The wounds of partition were still fresh, and the integration of princely states into the Indian Union posed a significant challenge. Yet, amidst these challenges, there was an undeniable sense of optimism and determination. India, under Nehru's leadership, embarked on a path of planned economic development, investing in infrastructure, education, and industrialization. The country adopted a policy of non-alignment in the emerging Cold War, seeking to chart its own course in international affairs. The road to nation-building was not without its obstacles. India, in its early years of independence, faced numerous challenges. Poverty, illiteracy, communal tensions, border disputes with neighboring countries, and the daunting task of building a modern democratic state from the ground up. Yet amidst these challenges, the spirit of resilience and the dream of a better future continued to burn bright. India made significant strides in agriculture thanks to the Green Revolution, which increased food production and helped alleviate hunger. The country also witnessed industrial growth, with the public sector playing a key role in developing heavy industries and infrastructure. However, economic progress was uneven, and poverty and inequality remained persistent challenges. India's commitment to democracy was tested on several occasions. The assassination of Indira Gandhi in 1984, followed by the anti-Sikh riots, shook the nation to its core. The rise of religious nationalism and communal tensions in the 1990s posed a serious threat to India's secular fabric. Despite these challenges, India's democracy endured. The country witnessed a gradual shift towards a more liberalized economy in the 1990s, opening up to foreign investment and embracing globalization. India's IT industry boomed, propelling the country onto the global stage as a technological powerhouse. India today stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people. From the ancient cities of the Indus to the bustling metropolises of the 21st century, India has journeyed through millennia, its story a tapestry woven with threads of resilience, innovation, and cultural vibrancy. The challenges remain: poverty, inequality, social divisions, but so too does the unwavering belief in a brighter future. India has emerged as a global player, its voice carrying weight on the world stage. Its economy, the fastest growing among major economies, is a testament to the entrepreneurial spirit of its people. Its technological prowess, particularly in the field of information technology, has earned it a place at the forefront of the digital revolution. Yet, India's greatest strength lies in its enduring democracy, its commitment to pluralism, and its ability to embrace diversity. In a world increasingly fractured by division and conflict, India stands as a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring power of unity in diversity. The journey continues, filled with promise and possibility, as India marches on, its sights set on a future worthy of its glorious past. The echoes of ancient wisdom mingle with the aspirations of a young and dynamic population, creating a symphony of hope and ambition. India's story is far from over. It is a story that continues to unfold, chapter by chapter, each one a testament to the enduring spirit of a nation on the rise.